Yep. Okay. Just had to recheck his first name here. Dr. Steve Turley. I love his positiveness. So here goes. Bikers for Trump, are they going to retake the back Seattle? We'll see.
So you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. We help you to think better so you can feel better, all right? So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'll be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, where together each and every day we celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. And let me tease you a bit here. I am excited to let you know that we have a major announcement coming next week, so you're not going to want to miss it, but we have some huge changes that are coming to Turley Talks that you're going to absolutely love. So stay tuned. I'm going to tease you with that. Let's start with our video chat question of the day, shall we? Do you support the retaking of Seattle's so-called autonomous zone? Let us know in the comment section below. Do you support the retaking of Seattle's autonomous zone? Or should we just let them rot? Like we talked about in yesterday's video, how these left-wing cities are just completely collapsing at this point. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, because we are going to look at the latest developments among citizens throughout our nation who are mobilizing not only to protect and defend our monuments and our heritage, but indeed to take back parts of our cities that cowardly left-wing politicians have abandoned. You're going to love this. But before we get into it all, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's Prepper's Peak new solar water heater. Now, Father's Day is approaching, and with all the lockdowns that we just witnessed, this solar water heater can turn out to be his best friend. The solar water heater is an amazing device that allows you to heat and boil water outdoors using simply sunlight. It can heat water in as little as 30 minutes. It'll work anywhere the sun shines. You can use it to boil water, to cook noodles and rice, and sterilize water for drinking. Perfect for campers, right? It's easy to clean, can be used anywhere there's sunlight. And the best part is if you click on that link below, you're going to get 15% off. So what can be better? So don't wait. Click on the link below before they sell out and get your own Patriot Sun cooker today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Fascinating stuff. It looks like we're beginning to see the right's answer to Antifa, and it's not good news for Antifa. A group of self-proclaimed bikers for Trump is pledging to retake Seattle's Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone on the 4th of July in honor of Independence Day. Now, I'm sure you're all aware by now, nauseatingly so, in the leftist cesspool known as the city of Seattle, Antifa-linked radicals took over 6 or 7 city blocks that the police department abandoned. And these radicals, they
So 6 or 7 blocks and a police precinct was taken over.
Originally called it Chaz, or the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I believe they've just named it CHOP, the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest Zone. Would it be better if it were CHOP Z? Z for the zone. It has more of a rat feel, right? And I came across it. Look at this. You actually had this site, Seattle PI, lead with this article, How Chaz Became CHOP, Seattle's Police-Free Zone Explained. I mean, it's a freaking laughing stock, and these left-wing nuts in Seattle are literally parodies themselves explaining this. But nevertheless, you got this autonomous zone set up, and it centers around an abandoned police station. They're refusing to leave until their list of demands are met, which include Seattle banning the police force completely, as well as providing black doctors for black patients, right? You heard that right.
Wow. Disbanding the police and black doctors for black patients.
Segregated hospitals, right? That's
segregated hospitals. Oh, my stars.
The fad among our university elite, where they're citing studies that minorities are more prone to COVID-19 because they're not as forthcoming with white doctors as they would be with non-white doctors. It's the latest in our descent into tribalism, brought to you by the American Marxist left. But again, I digress. So you've got this occupied territory known as Chop Z in Seattle, right? And it even comes with a warlord in charge. How's that? I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. A guy by the name of Raparaz Simone and his armed crew are declaring themselves now the law and order of the area. That's why I think we should call it Chop Z. But regardless, right now, I'm sure you all know that the ultra-left mayor of Seattle thinks this is all cool, right? Both the governor of Washington and the mayor, they think this occupation's really, like, lovely, right? They're digging it, man. And as a result, like we talked about on yesterday's video, you have a total breakdown between the mayor's office and the police. A breakdown in law and order. The police are ready to take back the city blocks that are being illegally occupied by what is, in effect, a radical militia that's instituted by the way of, they've instituted race-segregated occupied territory, all right? But just like our cultural Marxist university has been doing. But nevertheless, you have this total breakdown between lawmakers and law enforcement. And of course, like we talked about in our last video, you have the epitome of unintelligibility when you have lawmakers siding with lawbreakers, right, as over and against the very law enforcement that they employ. It's the epitome of absurdity. But that doesn't matter to the cultural Marxist left if what they're overseeing is the destruction of a racist, bigoted, and sexist society. And so with this breakdown between lawmakers and law enforcement, we're beginning to see citizens, sane citizens, as opposed to the collective insanity that characterizes our political class today. Sane citizens are starting to mobilize to take back the so-called autonomous zone, or Antifistan, as we like to call it. And so what we're seeing now is a group known as Bikers for Trump, who are pledging to take back Antifistan on behalf of the United States. On their Facebook event page, they posted, quote, "On July the 4th, Independence Day, a coalition of patriot groups and all who want to join are going to retake the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone for America. Antifa members are illegally occupying public property and terrorizing small businesses in the neighborhood. American patriots have agreed to come together again, remove the barricades illegally obstructing traffic, and free the people in the zone." Close quote. Amen to that. At this point, 1.7 thousand are committed to going. Another 15,000 are interested. And they make it clear that, they have no intention of engaging in any deliberate acts of violence, unlike the Antifistan thugs. They're not going to be breaking the law, unlike the Antifistan thugs. They're simply going to show up in mass numbers and begin the process of removing the barriers that were set up by these Antifistan thugs. They're going to dismantle the barriers, and then they're going to return the police station over to the Seattle Police Department. And there's really nothing these Antifistan thugs can do about it. Again, this is scheduled for July 4th in correspondence with Independence Day. And this may be all that needs to happen in order for Trump to act decisively. Trump has in fact said that if this mayor does not end this occupation once and for all, then he will. And what we can see play out here is that these Bikers for Trump, and by the way, you don't have to be a biker to join. Anyone who's interested in just restoring law and order is invited. But we could see these Bikers for Trump showing up, and if there's even the slightest bit of a skirmish, then that's it. I think Trump and the feds will move in. The whole situation is, would at that point have gotten out of hand. And it's gotten out of hand precisely because these left-wing loons, these cultural Marxist morons, these so-called lawmakers have refused to actually enforce the law. Now, while all this is going on, another fascinating development is happening.
Now, we need to stop here for a moment. We will see if Trump does step in if there's problems, or the National Guard steps in. So there's going to be a showdown come July 4th in Seattle, one way or another.
And that's a number of armed citizens gathering together and protecting monuments across the nation. For example, in Kentucky, in the city of Brandenburg, a group of armed citizens surrounded a Confederate statue after they heard that Black Lives Matter mob was expected to gather around it and deface or destroy it. And in Philadelphia, a group of armed men gathered around a statue of Christopher Columbus in South Philly, gathered to keep it safe from vandalism from BLM and Antifa activists. And again, God bless these people. You see, this is what we're seeing emerge through all this. I think it's very important. As left-wing mayors and governors cower before the warlords of cultural Marxism, as again, let this hit you, as lawmakers side with lawbreakers because they're cowards. As lawmakers turn their backs on law enforcement and side with the lawless, American citizens are standing in the gap. And I need to add, these are brave Americans. They are courageous Americans. Do not ever forget this. We as a nation were originally founded on the notion of virtue, particularly the classical concept of civic virtue. And virtue, classically speaking, involves cultivating a soul that loves what's truly lovely, desires what's truly desirable, and hence we're able to experience our highest human freedom and our highest human flourishing. And this is key, without the coercion of government. This is what civic virtue is all about. Civic virtue is about cultivating a sense of self-government, where we voluntarily pursue the public good without coercion from the government. So this is how we bring together law and liberty in this.
I mean, that's powerful, and we've forgotten that. But has this ever been taught well in our civic classes or in our middle schools or our high schools or even in our elementaries? No. This minor but essential detail has not been taught in our public schools. Shame on them. Shame on them.
Distinctive American experiment. And classically meaning when you go back to Athens and Rome and Jerusalem, right, the very foundations of our Western civilization, classically speaking, courage is the central virtue, right? You have what's called the four cardinal virtues, right? Wisdom, moderation, justice, and courage. And the notion here is that without courage, all the other virtues fall apart. Right? You have to have fortitude to want to be free, to want to cultivate and protect the public good. And without the fortitude and the courage to do that, all the other virtues collapse. So God bless these men who are protecting our heritage and our monuments. God bless these bikers for Trump, because they're ready not merely to celebrate liberty on July the 4th, they're ready to defend and protect it. And it's called virtue.
Wow. Powerful, powerful last words. Please share this. Pretty amazing, especially the last part of this. It's Roger Martin, Steve Turley. I subscribe to his channel. I recommend that you do too. Good day.